Dada Sham, everyone. This is the first time ever Bridge Builders, the youth wing of the Sadhu Vaswani mission, brings to you a live session with Didi Krishna Kumari Thadani. She has the rare distinction of having had the personal company of two saints, Sadhu Vaswani and Dada J.P. Vaswani. Now, as the working chairperson of Sadhu Vaswani Mission, she oversees their legacy and work in a selfless life of utter dedication and seva. Her devotion is unquestionable. Her faith is like a rock amidst the waves of challenges. A tireless and dynamic leader, she inspires all with her actions. And today, we are blessed to have her with us for the first time on this platform, live, up close, and personal. Didi, we thank you for being with us and teaching us how to be tougher in tough times. We seek your guidance and we wish to gain Dada's wisdom through you today. Dada is the source of light and Didi is the brightest ray. Please share your thoughts with us, Didi.
Dada Sham, everybody. It's really a joy to be amidst all of you all today. Yes, dear Dimple, what you said is that we are definitely going through very difficult times. We are going through very tough times. But we all know that life is never smooth sailing. Sometimes there are phases when we are surrounded by difficulties, by dangers, we are heartbroken, we have heartaches, and sometimes life is such that we are in a flush of joy, of enthusiasm, of elation. Yes, we are all affected by this challenge, by this COVID challenge. But we should not let ourselves be weighed down by this challenge. Let us seek God's help and then stand up, bounce back, and start moving forwards. Fear, anxiety, loneliness, depression, these are some of the negative tendencies that may pull us back. But we must ensure that we will substitute these negative tendencies with positive attributes. Beloved Dada often said to us that the youth are a symbol of Shakti. Each and every one of you has the Shakti not only to face this problem, not only to face this challenge, but to recreate and rebuild your environment. Therefore, develop your physical strength. Take care of your body, respect it. It is your greatest asset. Develop your mental energy. Do not let the mind sway you. Be a master of your thoughts. And thirdly, develop your spiritual stamina. Within each one of us, there is a spiritual seed that has been sown. Let us nurture it with hope, with faith, with resilience, and above all, with gratitude. We are so made that we focus on problems, on difficulties, on challenges. We see only the dark spots, and therefore these dark spots, they create a black shadow on our lives. We forget to see the white spaces that surround us. Let us focus on these white spaces. Beloved Dada often said to us, let us stop complaining and start thanking. Just see, we have so many things that we should be grateful for. We all of us today, we are so healthy. We have this great gift of life bestowed on us by God. We have such good food to eat. We have beautiful homes to live in. We have family and friends who care for us, who take care of us. There are so many things that we can be grateful for. But still, we dwell on things that we don't have, that we miss. Many of us, in fact, all of us, we are confined to our homes. We cannot move out. We cannot go on any travel. We cannot go out on a holiday. We cannot go out on a picnic. But sitting at home, let us embark on this journey. If you all agree, for these few days, let us get on board the Gratitude Express. Let us try to thank God for so many things that He has bestowed on us. So many gifts life has bestowed on us. So many gifts nature has bestowed on us. Let us begin our day with gratitude. Let us fill our day with gratitude. And let us close our day with gratitude. And we will see that life has a new color, it has a new dimension, it has a new flavor, and it has a new purpose to live for. Today, I think we have gathered together for a short question and answer session. It is an interaction between all of us. But I would like to say at the very outset that wisdom, I have none. Knowledge, I have none. I had the great good fortune of being in the close and elevated company of my revered master, beloved Dada J.P. Vaswani. That is also his grace. I was in awe of how he patiently he patiently heard everyone who came to him. He not only heard them, but he understood their need. Then he went a step still further. What did he do? He identified himself with their pain and magically he soothed them, he healed them, he renewed their lives. They came to him bogged with burdens. They came to him surrounded by fear, filled with fear, cowed down by fear, but they left with shoulders erect, full of faith, full of hope, and full of the spirit of gratitude. Today, I will try to share of you some of his insights, but I'm sure I will never be able to do justice to it, but I will definitely try my best. The mistakes are all mine, but the wisdom and the knowledge is all his.
Thank you so much, Didi. In fact, just listening to you right now, it in this pandemic time, it really doesn't look that tough. You make it sound easy, doable, and I'm hoping that all the questions we talk about today help all our viewers to gain that strength. It's all within us. It's just time to explore it. So our viewers and followers across the globe have sent us their questions. We'll take up a few of them today. And before we start, I'd like to tell the viewers that we have some very exciting announcements also at the end of today's session. So stay tuned with us. So we'll begin this interactive session now, Didi. The first question: we are in turbulent times, business, job losses, uncertainty about exams, and worst is the uncertain lives we are living. What would be beloved Dada's 3 practical suggestions to face this crisis?
It was just a few days back that we had an interaction with a small group of doctors. And what did one of the doctors say to us? He said, we live today in a VUCA world. VUCA world is, the world today is volatile, it is uncertain, it is complex,
Yes.
and it is ambiguous.
Yes.
It is this uncertainty, it is this suddenness that has hit us. We all were not prepared for it. Even when the headlines spoke to us about the Wuhan virus, about the Wuhan crisis, we did sympathize with it, but we didn't realize that one day we all will be affected by it. The entire world will be affected by it. And beloved Dada always had practical tips, practical suggestions to share with us. And since you asked for 3, I will try and give you 3 of them. The first practical suggestion that I would like to share is, beloved Dada always said to us that keep yourself mentally alert and physically fit. Today, most of us, we are working from our homes and that is a very good thing. But usually, working from home creates a little more stress and strain, and therefore, all the more reason we need to keep ourselves physically fit. Beloved Dada also reminded us that this body, it is a temple of God which houses our soul. Therefore, we should keep this body clean, we should keep it pure, we should keep it strong, and we should keep it in good shape. Therefore, we must take care of our body. We can adopt any exercise regime that we feel will suit our bodies, or we can practice yoga or pranayam, whatever suits us. But we must keep ourselves physically fit, and we must realize the value of this greatest gift that has been bestowed on us, the gift of life. And the second practical suggestion, which I think I can pass on to you, is that we should learn to accept that we and our lives, that the world and its affairs, they are in the hands of a superpower, a power far greater than the collective might of all the nations put together. Therefore, we should connect to this power. We should connect ourselves to God. Only if we have this assurance that this world is in the hands of the superpower, I'm sure all fears will vanish, all our doubts will melt. I'm just reminded of a small story in the life of our beloved Dada. He was just a very, very small kid, you know. He was in school, and one day an inspector comes to the school. And since Dada was always sitting in the first row, the inspector, he asks him to stand up. And he stands up, and the inspector tells him, "Can you answer my question?" Dada was too anxious, too eager, in fact, to answer the question. So the inspector said, "Tell me, where is Hyderabad, Sindh situated?" And Dada immediately replied, "Sir, it is situated in India." Very good answer. The next question was, "Where is India situated?" And Dada immediately said, "It is situated in Asia." Where is Asia located? Asia is situated in the world.
Correct.
And then came the question, where is the world located? Where is the world? And Dada didn't even hesitate for a minute. What did he say? The world is in the safe hands of God.
Oh, wow.
This child. So if we just have that assurance that the world is in the safe hands of God, I'm sure we will be able to meet any crisis, any challenge that crosses our path. And the third practical suggestion, because there are so many that are now coming to my mind, the third practical suggestion I will say is, let us try to, how do I put it? To re-evaluate our priorities.
Okay.
Life given to us for. What is the purpose of our lives? Why are we here? Are we living meaningful lives? What are the values we would like to live by? Let us reflect over these questions. Now we have the time to do so. If we'll reflect over these questions, we will no longer lead meaningless lives. We will not just be running after pleasures, after possessions, after power. We will realize what is the true purpose of life. Why have we come here? We will not live as if there is no tomorrow. We will not take things for granted. So let us utilize this little spare time that we have in re-evaluating our priorities. Till now, we have been constantly running a rat race. And I recall once again, beloved Dada used to always tell us that even if you win this rat race, after all, you're still a rat. So why not we realize what are our priorities in life? So if we try to do these three things, I think we will be able to get over these turbulent times.
I agree. In fact, they're so simple and easy to do. when you reflect back and think about what you just said, if we just divert our mind there, we'll constantly calm down automatically. It's just about the shift of perspective that is required right now.
And we have to make an effort to do it, you know. We say, okay, it's okay as life is going on. No, we have to make up our mind that now is the time to change. We can for sure never get back to our old pattern of living.
No, there's no going back now. This brings me to my next question. Can you recall a very challenging situation that Dada faced himself? And how was his practical and his spiritual response to it?
Beloved Dada, he braved many storms. He faced many, many, many challenges in life, but not for a single moment did the words, "Thank you, God," ever leave his lips. I was a personal witness to this, and did never did he lose the $1 million smile that lit up his divine face. I can just recall when he had a fall in Panama in 2010. Instead of thinking about himself, he was thinking about us because he saw that we were paralyzed with fear. We didn't know what to do, we didn't know where to turn. He not only reassured us, he not only comforted us, but he said to us, "All is well and all will always be well." Every single day, he had a new mantra of gratitude on his lips. So that's why I'm saying, at least these 7 days, let us do this one thing. Let us try to adapt this attitude of gratitude, and we will really see a remarkable change in our lives. There are so many practical ways that Dada adopted. In fact, every step of his, every move of his was a lesson that we had to learn. I will just recall very two tiny incidents that will give you the strength he had and the strength and courage he gave all of us. As I said to you, he was taken to the hospital because of the fall. So a nurse comes to him and says to him, "Dada, I'm so sorry that you have had a fall." And what was Dada's response? It was a rise. It was not a fall. A child rises when it falls. I have also risen. I have not fallen. The nurse was wondering, to whom am I speaking? Who is the patient? You know, another incident, like Dada was being taken in the stretcher to the surgery. And just before that, the doctors, they all assembled around him just to make him feel, comfortable. So they asked Dada that, "Are you comfortable?" Dada looked at them and he gave them a very meaningful smile. And then he asked them, "What is the meaning of the word comfortable?" So they just smiled. Then Dada said to them, "The word comfortable, it is built of two words, come and fort." Fort means a place of refuge. When you come and seek refuge at the lotus feet of the Lord, you are always comfortable. So when you have that assurance that you're safe in the hands of God, you are always, always, always comfortable.
That is so beautiful.
Because they were speechless. They didn't know what to tell him. In fact, they were comforted rather than they who had come to make Dada feel comfortable. It was they who were comforted. And they definitely said to Dada that it is you who is going to perform the surgery through us.
Wow. This is beautiful. I've never looked at the word comfortable from this angle, and it's really going to be something I'm going to take back from from this session for sure. My next question: in this period of crisis, surely there is and will be meaning of mercy. But what about so much unemployment? What would be Dada's message to the millions who have lost their jobs and they're struggling for even a living at these times?
Of course, the situation is very, very sad. Our volunteers, as you know, the Sadhu Vaswani mission, in a very humble way, has started the Seva program, and our volunteers continuously go and they visit slum areas, they visit the homeless people, and they are so sad, they are so grieved, they are so touched, they are appalled, they are really, really, they have no words to describe the condition of all these people who are really jobless.
True.
But the world has never been and will never remain in a state of stasis. Human civilization is dynamic, and beloved Dada always said to us that in order to grow, we have to change. We have to adapt ourselves to all these changing circumstances. And we have always been doing it as humanity, as human beings. We have always been adapting ourselves to changing situations. Previously, there were only horse carriages. They were replaced by railway trains.
Yes.
Previously, there were only typewriters and stenographers, but now they are replaced by computers. Mobile phones have replaced landlines. So we have to adapt to changing circumstances. Humanity has to evolve, life has to grow. But we definitely have to develop new skill sets. We have to move outside our comfort zone, and we have to learn to accept risks. And always Dada would tell us that have faith, have hope, and remember these 5 words, that this too shall pass away. These 5 words give you so much strength, so much courage. In fact, Dada told us the story of a king who one day he calls all the wise men who were in his court, and he tells them that, can you give me 5 words that I would like to inscribe, that can always prove to be an inspiration to me, that can always heal me, that can always soothe me, that can always encourage me. All of them come up with different answers, but the answer that appeals to the king is these 5 words: this too shall pass away. And we should not forget beloved Dada's call, that we have been given this human birth, we have been given this life to spend it in the service of others. So now is a great opportunity that life has provided us. We must go out and help these people who are unemployed, who are needy, who are unwanted, who are unloved. Dada would always tell us that do not curse the darkness. Yes, there is unemployment. There are many more problems that will arise due to this crisis, but we don't have to curse the darkness. We have to light our little candle. Many of us, we feel, what can we contribute? Our contribution is going to be so insignificant. But we must not think about that. However small, whatever little act we can do, even if we can provide food to just one human being, to just one bird, beloved Dada would always tell us that just one tiny act of service, if we do every day, we will have contributed to this great yagna, this great call of sacrifice.
Beautiful. I hope all our viewers are listening to this and you take back the message, this too shall pass away. My next question is related to family. If one has been agreeable with their in laws in all situations, leading to which they don't really have a say in the family decisions anymore, they're given a deaf ear because they consider that the person will adjust as usual. What do we do in such a situation? Because over time it causes frustration, irritation, and it creates a feeling of being completely left out. So what is your view, Didi, on this, and how can we handle this?
I do empathize with this person, but once again, I will just say that whenever a newly wedded couple came to Dada, Dada would always tell their parents that a new daughter-in-love, not daughter-in-law, is entering your family. So it is a great responsibility on the parents, because they are getting a new daughter. She's leaving all the comforts, all the conveniences of her house and entering a new life, entering a new house to do all the sacrifice that is called for to keep the entire family together and to keep the family happy. So Dada would repeatedly urge all the parents that treat your daughter-in-laws as your daughter-in-love.
Wow.
And we don't need to necessarily argue, but at the same time, if need be, we can definitely make our voice heard. We can find out different ways in which we can approach the situation. Like, I'm just reminded, in fact, do we have the time?
Yes, please go on, Didi.
What is the time? You have some questions, or I can skip the story?
I have a few more questions. It's 9:25. So you take a decision however you would like to, because we are loving your conversation.
Fewer questions, but we address them nicely. So I'll mention the story. I'll narrate the story to you. Dada told us the story. Maybe many of you have heard it about the villagers. They lived a very miserable life because of a snake who stayed in the woods, and these villagers were terrorized by the snake because it used to bite them. They literally didn't want to move out to the woods to collect wood, to fell wood, and to go and sell it and to earn their livelihood. One day, a saint of God, he comes to this village, and all the villagers go to him and they tell him, it's only you who can bring us out of this predicament. It's only you who can save us. And they narrate the entire problem to him. And what does the saint do? He goes to the snake. This is a story to teach us a lesson. And
Yes.
the saint goes to the snake and he tells him, please do not bite the people. And the snake, it said in the story, he bows down to the saint. And the saint moves on. He moves on to the next village. Again, after a few months, when he's returning, he comes to the same village and he finds that the villagers are so happy and they are all thanking him that they are now living peaceful lives, happy lives, contented lives. He says, let me go and see how is the snake? What is his condition? So he comes to the snake and he's so sad to see that the snake is completely emaciated. He is wounded. He can barely lift his head up. So
Oh my-
he inquires from him. He says, why? The entire wood, all the woods are open to you. You could have gone there and feasted. Why are you so emaciated? Why can't you even lift your head up? Why are you so weak? And what does the snake say, sir? You said to me that please do not bite. Every day, these villagers, they attack me with sticks and stones, and I'm completely wounded. I cannot even move. And what did the saint say to him? I told you not to bite, but I never told you not to hiss. So we
Yes.
must not be afraid to express our opinion. We don't have to argue, we don't have to raise our voice, but we can express our opinion politely, and we can ensure, or we can at least try, that our opinion is heard. Then let it be, let the discussion go on, and whatever is good for the family, whatever is good for everyone, let that decision be taken. But we must never see us, we must never control ourselves or suppress ourselves.
I hope all the parents out there take back this message that your daughter-in-laws are your daughter-in-love. Didi, with your permission, can I add one more question? If
Yes,
you're
definitely.
so, the next question is,
All of them.
how do you handle jealousy? Why is it that when something is going good for people, some other people stand in the opposition always?
Of all the negative emotions that darken our life, perhaps jealousy is the worst, because it makes us unhappy on account of the happiness and the success of others. Because when we are jealous, we cannot see the person of whom we are jealous happy or successful, isn't it?
Correct.
So it really robs us of our peace of mind. And beloved Dada gave us a very simple example. He said to us that there was a person who was not invited for a party of his dearest friend. In fact, the initial invitation was not accorded to him, but he was so hurt. He was so, he had that, that bitterness in him, that when the friend actually invited him way before the party, What was his reply? He said, now it is too late. I've already prayed to God that it should rain. So can you imagine? Just because he didn't receive an invitation, he went to that extent that he prayed to God that it should rain. Beloved Dada gave us a very simple, a very constructive way of handling jealousy. Of course, it is difficult, but Beloved Dada said to us, send out positive vibrations, send out blessings, send out love to the person of whom either you are envious or a person who's envious of you. It will work both ways.
Okay.
May the best of life flow into you. May you always be happy. May you march from success to greater success. Send out positive vibrations. And Beloved Dada always said to us that more than our words, our vibrations reach people. Therefore, be careful of the thoughts that you think, because thoughts convert into vibrations, and vibrations travel so fast. I may say so many things to you, but if my vibration doesn't communicate that, many times, we don't believe sometimes what people say. We
Yes.
all experienced that. So we must be very careful about the intention with which we are making that prayer. That intention has to be pure.
Wow, that's beautiful. Do I continue? Do I carry on?
I don't know if time will permit you, but I'm ready for it.
Okay, so let's go for it, because I'm sure the viewers are really gaining a lot of strength, and I think it's only fair that you share your vibrations with them. So the next question is, Dada always taught us that there is a meaning of mercy in everything God does, and that whatever happens is a part of His perfect plan. We know this holds true even in this current pandemic situation. So, what purpose do you believe that coronavirus serves in this whole divine plan? How can we help fulfill that purpose then?
I think each one of us should answer this question for himself or herself, because, but I will definitely repeat Dada's words that in all that happens, there is a meaning of mercy. Dada always said to us, God is too wise to make a mistake, and He is too loving to punish us. In fact, every accident, every incident that comes in our life comes with a purpose. We are not able to understand that divine purpose because our intellect is very, very small. And with that small intellect, we cannot fathom the wisdom of God. Sometimes we, in fact, question, why me? Why did it happen to me?
Yes.
It is happening in accordance with a divine plan, in accordance with divine wisdom. Beloved Dada always said to us, each experience that comes to us is a teacher. And until we have learned the lesson, that experience will keep coming back to us, sometimes even wearing a more formidable form. So we should all ask ourselves. I think the purpose of this pandemic is that we ask ourselves, what is the lesson that each one of us should try to gain from this pandemic? And the lesson which I have to learn is different from the lesson that you have to learn. We should find out, we should introspect, reflect, and try to find out the purpose, the lesson that this pandemic has come to teach each one of us, because we all are working in different environments. We are brought up with in different conditions. So we all have different temperaments, we have different sanskars. So everybody's lesson will be different.
Right.
So it depends on each one of us. And I think each one of us should answer this question for himself or herself.
And since what you said that we need to, sit down and ask ourselves this question and get into deeper within ourselves, I think it only makes sense to ask you, how should we cultivate this soul power? Can you give us some practical suggestions? How should we develop concentration when we sit in that silence? Because the mind keeps wavering everywhere otherwise. So how do we become one with that silence?
In fact, today I read beautiful words of Sadhu Vaswani, and I'm so happy that they are going to come handy now to me. And Sadhu Vaswani said that if we have to grow in spiritual life, we have to do three things. The first is do your duty sincerely, earnestly, and honestly. Do not swerve, from the path of duty. And the second is every day spend some time in prayer, in meditation, or in chanting the name divine, whatever suits you. And the third, as I said earlier, I will be quick in this answer. The third, as I said earlier, is go out and help as many as you can to lift the load on the rough road of life. And about concentration, many times Dada has given us this beautiful exercise. I'm sure many of the listeners are aware of it because they have heard it from Dada himself, and that is so powerful. Dada would always tell us that one exercise that we can do is we can keep a candle in front of us, we can light it, and then we keep it at eye level, try to focus on it, concentrate on it, and then close our eyes and then try to see the flame in our mind's eye. And after some time, slowly, the flame will start fading. And then we should open our eyes and again repeat this exercise. If we keep on doing it, we can develop our concentration. And those of us who are more spiritual, who want to grow in soul power, we can substitute the candle by the picture of a great one of humanity, our Ishtadev, our Guru, the picture of our beloved Dada, and we will get perhaps better results because our mind, we love these devtas, these gurus so much that our mind spontaneously goes out to them. So we are able to relate to them. So I think if we focus on Dada's image, we will be richly rewarded. But one thing is sure, for concentration, we need repeated practice. Concentration doesn't come easily. You have to really work for it.
And we have the time now. So it is also a message to us that you have the time, put it into that concentration and go within. So on behalf of everyone, yes, Didi.
Okay, we can close. Fine. I thought we could take the last question, but we'll close. We'll do it some other time. Thank
no, let's do one question since you.
Fine. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying something.
No, so I'll come to the next question. So there are times when we want something that is not in our control. How do we achieve that? Should we leave it on God to fulfill it?
In fact, there are many things which are not in our control. There are very few things that are in our control. So Dada would always tell us. In fact, I mentioned this even to we had a small meeting, also an interaction with some businessmen, and I said to them that Dada said to us that God helps those who help themselves. So, of course, we should work hard. We should strive. We should put in our best efforts. We can take help of positive visualization. We should seek God's help because both effort and faith, both are needed hand in hand. Let me narrate to you a story which Dada told us. He mentioned to us about a student who was not good in a particular subject. So what that student did, she went to the library and she picked up all the books relating to that subject, and she comes and she keeps it under her pillow thinking that she could absorb it through osmosis. So wishful thinking cannot lead to success. We have to put in our effort. Of course, effort and faith both go hand in hand. Effort and dependence on God, because without God, we cannot even cross the threshold. For example, in today's times, suddenly we receive a pink slip. What can we do? We have no option. It is not in our control. But does that mean we will sit quiet? We will think that a potential employer will come and knock at the door of our house, bringing a job on a platter? No. We have to look for new opportunities. We have to put in our applications. Then which interview calls we receive, we have to go for them. It is a process. But of course, at every stage, we have to seek God's guidance. We have to seek His help. And we have to say to Him that it is only with your help that I can cross any hurdle. I can overcome any problem. I can control every situation. Be by me. Be with me. Guide me. Protect me. Lead me onward, forward, upward, and Godward and Dadaward.
Beautiful. Since you spoke about Dada just now so beautifully, I think the next question is something that a lot of our viewers will need.
See the time also.
Yes, just the last one for sure. Because this is something I think a lot of us are seeking answers to. A lot of the generation, the youth that you talk about, has probably not had interactions with Dada, most of them.
Yeah.
Some of
The
them.
best thing of their life, the best thing of their life.
So, my question is that, Didi, I miss our beloved Dada very much, but I feel I have lost the connection with him. I know he's with us, but somewhere I feel I'm moving away from him. He has blessed us enormously. How do I keep my divine connectivity with my Dada, my beloved, my Guru?
You can never lose your connection with Dada. It's very similar to the sun. The sun shines daily, but sometimes it is covered by clouds.
Yes.
So how can you say that you have lost your connection with the sun? Dada is there, the connection is there, but maybe there is a cloud of doubt. If this person is in Pune, I would request her come to the sacred samadhi, which is so palpable with Dada's presence. When
Yes.
lockdown opens, come and join us in our daily satsangs, and you will be greeted by the beautiful statue of Dada with ever open arms, assuring us, reassuring us that I am there and I will always be there for all of you. It is really so very simple, so very simple. And I can just make a small suggestion that if now we are just feeling a little I should not use the word disconnected, because I feel that the moment I'm disconnected, I may not even be able to survive. I may not even be able to breathe. But try to install Dada's picture if you don't have one in your temple. And every day you go and sit in front of the picture. Speak to Dada, unburden yourself, say whatever is within you. Do not hide anything. Just be bare in front of Him. It is this love, it is this devotion, it is this longing, it is this frankness that will get back all that you have lost. But never say that you have lost your connection. The connection is there all the time, 24 by 7, available to each and every one of us. You can never stay disconnected. Even if we try to lose the connection, He will connect to us. That was His promise.
Wow.
Never fail us. Never will He fail us.
We just have to move the cloud away. That's all. So, on behalf of everyone, we request beloved Didi to please keep having more such sessions with us every month so that many more people can benefit from your guidance, your wisdom. And we really can't thank you enough today, Didi, for being with us and bringing hope and faith into the hearts of so many viewers and their families. I'm sure we all are feeling energized and full of gratitude today.
In fact, I will seek the blessings of all the viewers. It's very easy to speak words, but it is very difficult to practice them, to translate them. You all please bless me that I may take up just one thing. Even if I just take up this one thought of gratitude, I should feel grateful for every little thing as frequently as possible. Just this one cry should emerge forth from my heart. Thank you, God. Thank you, Dada. Thank you, God. Thank you, Dada. I think I will have not lived my life in vain. So, this is the blessing that I seek of you, that I must translate even this one teaching into practice. I think this session will have taught me much.
Definitely. In fact, since you mentioned about gratitude, I believe thank you is the only prayer. And if that's all you say, it will just suffice all your life. And I've been thinking about this thought since you've been talking about gratitude and practicing the attitude of gratitude. We all love to travel so much. This is our summer vacation time where most of us should have been traveling, but we are not. But I think we're limited only with our physical capacities. We are not limited from our emotions, our spirit. And we can actually take that emotion and travel far and wide. So let's get on to that gratitude express that you mentioned. for the next 7 days, and let's go on a spiritual vacation this time. And we'll be challenged to, of course, look around to find something good, let out some gratefulness from the bags of our hearts. So I'm going to request all of y'all, if y'all want to get onto the best holiday and vacation of your life, you must reach out to Neha Milani. The number is going to be mentioned in the comments below, and she is going to tell you how to register, and we'll take forward this gratitude express that you mentioned, Didi.
Great. For 7 days, we all will jump aboard this Gratitude Express and really take this spiritual holiday, this spiritual journey that will really make our lives fuller and richer.
Let's do this. And today I'm going to end the session with the big announcement that I promised the viewers earlier. Our beloved Dada's birthday is not far away, and no circumstance can keep us from celebrating this day in our lives. So we are going to have a virtual celebration which starts as early as this month itself. We have planned Mindful or Mindful series for all of you across the globe. Some very attractive workshops are lined up, and I will be announcing the ones that are planned for June. Take your pens, note down the dates, because workshop 1 is on June 20th with Mickey Mehta on the topic of yoga. Workshop 2 is on June 28th with Mayuri Punjabi of My Eureka Live from Hong Kong. And her topic will be mindful cooking and eating. Stay tuned for all details, updates, and further announcements, because this is going to be worth the wait. Thank you to all our viewers across the globe. Let's start easing ourselves and putting to practice the teachings of Didi. I would now like to invite Dipti Rupani to close the session with the thank you prayer.
प्रभु तेरी ही कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है, प्रभु तेरी ही कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है, करते हो तुम प्रभु जी, मेरा नाम हो रहा है, प्रभु तेरी ही कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है, तकलीफ और तंगी में एक तू ही मददगार, उठाए हैं अंजलि के जन्मों के सारे भार, करता नहीं मैं कुछ भी, सब काम हो रहा है, करते हो तुम प्रभु जी, मेरा काम हो रहा है, प्रभु तेरी ही कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है, दादा तेरी ही कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है.
Dada Sham.
Dada Sham.
Dada Sham.